Welcome to Subramani. A few years ago, when I used to be a better runner than I am today, we were going from Bombay to Satara because there was an event in Satara. So there we stopped by to have vada pav. Not a very sensible thing to do one day before a run, but we stopped to have vada pav. And then obviously that vada pav had to be followed by tea. And the guy who was making vada pav for us, he made very good ones. And we said, what about tea? He said, I don't have tea, but there's a shop next door, maybe 10 feet away, 10-15 feet away. He makes good tea, and you can have tea there, or you should have tea there. He makes good tea. So obviously among us was one brilliant MBA who said, why are you driving people away from your business to another business? Because you could have made that money yourself. You could have put up a tea stall also, because anyway people who come to eat vada pav will also want tea. So he looked like, are you from Mars? But he's making tea, right? There's a business there who is doing well, who is making tea, and what's your problem? Now this guy was young and he couldn't understand how somebody would turn away a customer. Right, customer asking for tea, and tea's got good margins, and so he said, look, he also has to make a living, so he's doing well. So he said, but he's making the money. He said, that's okay, but he's part of the village, he's my brother. So he said, oh, it's your brother. And I realized that this young boy was not able to understand, but in the village everybody is each other's brother, uncle, kaka. In the Indian words being kaka for uncle, and bhau in Marathi for brother. So he says, this is my bhau. So he said, oh, he's a brother, so he's running it. I said, no, it's not a brother. Everybody is called a brother, that's all. So he said, oh, is your first cousin or something? He said, no, he's just from my village, but we've known each other family for maybe 100 years, so it's like a brother. So like a brother is not a brother, right? So in your own language you would think, oh, I might as well put it up myself, or I franchise my brand name because I'm selling good vada pav, people are shopping here, there's good parking available, so people are sitting and eating, and then they will obviously have tea. But this guy had no such things. When you're younger, maybe when you're 25, money is very important. So when you look at your appraisal and you've got 15% and your friend has got 30% or 20%, or he's on a higher base or she's on a higher base and they've got higher, you look at it and say, oh my God, should I change jobs? Should I do this? Should I do that? But by the time you're 50, 55, 60, you realize that money is important. Make no mistake about it. The comfort of saying, okay, there's an Apollo hospital near my house, so in case something happens, take me there. I know the bill will be 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, whatever. I have some medical insurance, and other than that, I have my credit card. I have my portfolio to fall back on. So it definitely gives you comfort. It also gives you comfort saying if there is somebody who needs financial support, you can just sign a check. So money is important, but you realize that there are other things more important, and that you realize only when you leave the city and go out to smaller places where yes, money is important. There is no doubt that money is important, but people use money for very different things. Like I was in Tirunelveli, where there is a chartered accountant who has one house, and he's kept a cook there, and so anybody who goes there who wants to eat, does not want to eat in a hotel, saying, oh, I don't want to eat this kind of hotel food, I've come to visit the temple. He's got a house where it's absolutely your choice whether to pay, right? Of course, he's employed somebody, he buys his vegetables, he cooks for you, he does all that, right? So different use of money again. So these kind of priorities change with age and with location. How Mumbai treats money, I'm sure same thing is true for New York, Delhi, whatever. How city treats money and how you look at money when you're at different ages is very different from how people in smaller towns look at money. They don't look at money as a very great scorecard, right? So you go to a small hotel, he'll say, this is what I have, take it or leave it. He is not bothered. He'll open the shop at 6:30 in the morning in South India. He'll open at 6 o'clock and he'll say, look, only coffee is available till 6:30 and only vada and idli is available till 8 o'clock. After that only we will start serving our full menu. And you cannot push him for anything and say, can you give it to me early? He says, no, this is my clock. He will close it at 9 o'clock. He'll close it for 3 hours in the afternoon. All these things they do. They also need to earn money. There is no doubt about that. But they don't prioritize money the way we prioritize in the cities. In cities, it becomes a big, I wouldn't even say social indicator, an indicator saying, oh, this guy has got more money, so he's more rich, he drives a bigger car, so he's more rich, or he drives a bigger house, so he's more rich. They don't use money as a tool to compare. Yes, I'm sure they may have some other ways to compare. They may say, oh, this guy comes from a very respected family, his father was this, his father was that, so they may not take money from you for doing certain things. When they know that you are in trouble, they will all pitch in. I know there's a very famous family, I don't want to name them, when they went to buy vegetables, people would not take money from them, right? So because they knew that they had fallen on bad times. So some of these things will happen, right? But the way we use money, when we are in our 20s and 30s, and the way we use money in our 50s and 60s can be very different. The way we look at money in bigger cities versus how we look at money in smaller towns can be very different. So you realize that money, yes, it's a great thing. It is useful for your own lifestyle, your vacations, your medical expenses, helping others, paying your, for example, when you have a lot of money and you feel that you could pay your maid servants, children's school fees, your drivers, medical insurance and all that, you feel good that you have the money which you can put to good use. But using money as a yardstick for success is something which cities do more than smaller towns. And this guy was being so helpful, saying, look, he also has to make a living, so he makes a living there. So this guy was more perturbed and said, but what happens if he closes down the business? He says, if he closes down the business, somebody else will start a tea business, or at that stage I will wonder what to do. He says, now how does it help you that he is making the money? He said, doesn't matter that he is making the money. In fact, if he is not well and he is unable to run the business, I run the business for him also. Even though it's far away, I put one of my employees there, and on that day, whatever is collected in the till, I go and hand it over to him. So there is no commission for running the business for 1 day or 2 days or things like that. People look at life very differently than what we look at when we are in a big city. So I have been to Ladakh, and in Ladakh, and if you go to interior parts of Leh is the capital, there you can get food there. But when you go into the interiors, if you go to other parts of Ladakh, you have to eat at homes. So you go and eat, and this is a very good food, and most of them say pay as you can, pay as you wish. So you pay, say, 100 rupees per meal or something like that. Maybe it is more than what they expect, and they just don't, they say that's fine, whatever you pay, right? They don't have I also believe that there is some way that when you pay according to your standards, you might pay much higher than what they can ask. But whatever it is, they don't ask for money that way. They give money to others. You ask them for, let's say you go and ask them for aloo gobi, right? That is flour and potato the vegetable to be made. He'll just go pick it up from the farm, cut it, bring it, cut it, and make the vegetable for you. That vegetable tastes very different because it's straight from the farm to your stomach is 2 hours, right? So that's very different, but that's how they do, and they don't. I can't imagine you paying them so much that they even refuse when it's a big amount. But they're happy to take something which you want to discard. Let's say you have a T-shirt, you have a wind cheater or things like that. They're very happy to take it and use it, right? So do you sell it to them? No, you don't sell it to them. Did it cost you money? Yeah, maybe it cost you 10,000 bucks to buy that jacket. You use it for 2-3 years. years, you just give it away and then you buy another jacket. So that is the time when you are not looking at money, right? So these things happen. So how you treat money, how money treats you, depends a lot, not just on your age. Of course it depends on your age. As you get richer and prosperous and older, I mean, today I get greater pleasure in giving away than in making money, but when you go to a different geography also, you realize that there people treat you with greater respect. They will say, look, this is what I have in my restaurant, okay, take it or leave it. You can't give them ideas like, oh, you can also make momos, you can do this, you can do that. They're not interested about that in South India. And when you go to Ladakh parts and you say, oh, you can also make idli and vada and things like that, they are not interested. They make their food. They make, of course, India's national food, Maggi, will be available everywhere, but attitude towards money and attitude towards life, attitude towards other people's business, attitude about sharing is very different according to your own age and according to the geographies that you visit. That's what is the essence of this video. Thank you.